My name is Sarah Chen, and I'm 58 years old. For the past 3 years, I've been paying my parents $700 every single week. That's nearly $3,000 a month. $36,000 a year. I never complained. Not once. My father, Robert, is 79 now. My mother, Dorothy, is 76. They raised me in a small house on Maple Street, the kind of neighborhood where everyone knew your name and your business. Dad worked at the factory for 42 years. Mom took in sewing and cleaned houses to help make ends meet. They weren't perfect parents, but they did their best with what they had. When Dad's health started failing and Mom's arthritis made it hard for her to work, I stepped in without hesitation. $700 a week seemed like a small price to pay for everything they'd done for me over the years. At least, that's what I told myself every time I transferred the money into their account. My daughter Emma just turned 7 last month. She has these bright hazel eyes that light up when she smiles, and dark curly hair that bounces when she runs. She's the joy of my life, the reason I wake up every morning with purpose. For weeks leading up to her birthday, Emma talked about nothing else. She wanted a small party, nothing fancy. Just cake, balloons, and her family around her. She made the invitations herself, carefully writing each name in her best handwriting. There were only 8 invitations total. 2 of them were for Grandma Dorothy and Grandpa Robert. I mailed their invitation 3 weeks early, just to make sure they had plenty of notice. I even called to confirm they received it. "We got it, Sarah," Mom had said on the phone. Her voice sounded tired, like it always did these days. "So you'll be there?" It would mean the world to Emma. There was a pause, just long enough to make my stomach tighten. "We'll try our best, sweetheart. Try." That word should have been my first warning. The day of the party arrived with perfect spring weather. Sunshine streamed through the windows of our modest home. I'd spent the entire previous evening decorating. Pink and purple streamers hung from the ceiling. Balloons clustered in every corner. The dining table held a homemade chocolate cake with 7 candles waiting to be lit. Emma wore her favorite yellow dress, the one with small daisies along the hem. She kept running to the window, pressing her nose against the glass. "When will Grandma and Grandpa get here?" she asked for the 10th time. "Soon, sweetheart. They'll be here soon," but I was already checking my watch. The party was supposed to start at 2 o'clock. It was now 2:15, then 2:30, then 3. I called Dad's cell phone. It rang 6 times before going to voicemail. I called Mom's phone. Same thing, the other guests had arrived. My sister Linda was there with her husband. My best friend Margaret came with her twins. Emma's 3 best friends from school ran around the backyard, their laughter filling the air. But Emma kept watching the door, her smile growing smaller with each passing minute. "Maybe we should start without them," Linda suggested quietly, touching my arm. I shook my head. "Let's give them a few more minutes." At 3:30, I made the decision to go ahead. We sang Happy Birthday. Emma blew out her candles, but her wish seemed sad somehow, whispered too quietly for anyone to hear. She opened her presents with polite enthusiasm, but I could see the disappointment in her eyes every time the doorbell didn't ring. By 5 o'clock, the party was over. The guests had gone home. Emma sat on her bed, still wearing her yellow dress, holding a stuffed bear her friend had given her. "Grandma and Grandpa forgot about me," she said softly. Those words broke something inside my chest. No, honey, I'm sure they had a good reason. But even as I said it, I wasn't sure I believed it myself. After I tucked Emma into bed that night, I sat in my kitchen with a cup of tea I didn't drink. The house was too quiet. The decorations that had seemed so cheerful that morning now felt like a mockery. I picked up my phone and called my father. This time he answered on the 3rd ring. "Sarah," he said. His voice sounded normal, not sick, not in distress, just normal. "Dad, where were you today?" "What do you mean?" "Emma's birthday party. You and Mom were supposed to be there." There was a long silence. I could hear the television in the background, some game show with canned laughter. "Oh, that was today?" My hand tightened around the phone. "Yes, Dad. That was today. Emma made you an invitation. I called to remind you. She waited for you for hours. Well, we had other plans. Other plans. Those two words hung in the air between us. What other plans? Your mother wanted to go to the garden center. We needed some new plants for the front yard. I closed my eyes, took a breath, tried to keep my voice steady. You couldn't do that any other day? Sarah, you're making too big a deal out of this. She's 7 years old. She won't even remember this party in a few years. Something inside me snapped. Dad, I pay you $700 every single week. That's almost $3,000 a month. I do it gladly because you're my parents and I love you, but Emma is my daughter, your granddaughter. She made you an invitation with her own hands. She talked about you coming for weeks, and you chose to go buy plants instead. That's what this is about? The money? No, I said, and I was surprised by how calm my voice sounded. This is about respect. This is about showing up for the people who love you. My father's voice shed then, became harder, colder. You know what your problem is, Sarah? You've always been too sensitive, too emotional. It was just a birthday party. Then why didn't you come? Another pause. Longer this time. Do you want to know the truth? Yes. Your mother and I were talking about it last week. About Emma. About you. And the truth is, we just don't feel that connected to your side of the family anymore. You have your life. We have ours. We're old, Sarah. We don't have the energy to pretend anymore. I felt like I'd been slapped. Pretend what? Pretend that we care as much as we should. The words came out so casually, like he was commenting on the weather, like he hadn't just ripped my heart out of my chest. When I asked you why you didn't come, I said slowly, you said Emma means nothing to you? That's not exactly what I said, but it's what you meant. He didn't deny it. I sat there in my kitchen, phone pressed to my ear, and felt something fundamental shift inside me. All those years of trying to be a good daughter, all that money sent faithfully every week, all those phone calls checking in, making sure they were okay, putting their needs before my own. And my daughter, my sweet Emma, meant nothing to them. Dad, I said quietly, I didn't say anything when you told me this, I just listened. But now I want you to listen to me. Sarah, don't be dramatic. I'm cutting you off. Silence. What? You heard me. No more money. No more weekly payments. You're on your own. Now wait just a minute. His voice rose. You can't just abandon your parents. We raised you. We need that money. You needed it 40 minutes ago when you were at the garden center buying plants. You needed it when you were sitting at home watching television instead of celebrating your granddaughter's birthday. But here's the thing, Dad. Emma needed you today. And you chose not to. Oh, show up. You chose to tell me she means nothing to you. I didn't say it like that. Then how did you say it? Because from where I'm sitting, it sounded pretty clear. I could hear my mother's voice in the background now, asking what was going on. Sarah, be reasonable, Dad said. You're upset. Let's talk about this tomorrow when you've calmed down. I am calm, I said. And I was. Calmer than I'd felt in years. I'm also done. Done sacrificing for people who don't appreciate it. Done teaching my daughter that it's okay to let people treat her like she doesn't matter. I'm going to hang up now. Don't call me unless you're ready to apologize to Emma. Sarah, wait. I ended the call, then I sat in the silence of my kitchen and cried. Not because I was sad, though I was, but because I was finally free. The next morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls from my parents, 12 text messages, even a voicemail from my uncle, my father's brother, telling me I was being disrespectful and ungrateful. I deleted them all. Linda called around noon. Mom and Dad called me, she said. They're freaking out about the money. Let them freak out. Sarah, I know you're angry, but what? But I should just forgive them? Keep sending money to people who think my daughter is worthless? Linda was quiet for a moment. Then she said, no. You're right, what they said was unforgivable. I just wanted to check on you. That almost made me cry again. I'm okay. Better than okay, actually. Good. You know I support you, right? Whatever you decide. I know, thank you. Emma came downstairs then, still in her pajamas. She climbed into my lap, something she didn't do as often anymore now that she was getting bigger. Mom, are Grandma and Grandpa mad at us? Why would you think that? I heard you on the phone. Last night. Your voice was sad. I hugged her close, breathed in the scene. Tea of her strawberry shampoo. Sometimes grown-ups disappoint each other, I said carefully. But that's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Did I do something to make them not come? No, sweetheart, not at all. This is about choices they made. Not about you. She nodded against my shoulder, but I could feel her confusion. How do you explain to a 7-year-old that sometimes the people who are supposed to love you most can be the ones who hurt you worst? The days turned into weeks. My parents called constantly at first. Then the calls became less frequent. Then they stopped altogether. I won't lie and say it didn't hurt. It did, every single day. But something else happened too. Without that $700 weekly drain, I had extra money for the first time in years. Real money. I took Emma to the zoo, we went to the movies, I signed her up for the art class she'd been begging for. We spent a Saturday afternoon baking cookies, just the two of us. Flour everywhere, chocolate chips sneaked from the bowl, laughter echoing through the kitchen. This is the best day, Emma said, and her smile was genuine. Full. Happy. I realized then that I'd been so focused on taking care of my parents that I'd forgotten what it felt like to truly enjoy time with my daughter. To be present, to be free of the constant worry about whether I was doing enough for them. A month passed, then 2, then 3. I started sleeping better. The knot of anxiety that had lived in my chest for years began to loosen. One evening in late summer, Emma and I were sitting on the porch swing watching fireflies dance in the twilight. She leaned her head against my arm. Mom, can I ask you something? Anything, sweetheart? Do you miss Grandma and Grandpa? I thought about how to answer that truthfully. I miss who I wanted them to be, I said slowly. I miss the idea of them, but the real. Them? The people who would hurt you and not even care? No. I don't miss that. Is that bad? That you don't miss them? No, honey, it's not bad. It's honest. And sometimes being honest means accepting that people aren't who you hoped they'd be. She was quiet for a moment, thinking, then she said, I'm glad it's just us. Those words settled into my heart like a blessing. Me too, Emma. Me too. In September, my father had a heart attack. Linda called me from the hospital, her voice shaking. It's Dad. He's in the ICU. They don't know if he's going to make it. My first instinct was to grab my keys and drive to the hospital. That old programming of duty and obligation kicked in automatically. But then I thought about Emma, about the birthday party, about the words my father had said. Is Mom with him? Yes, she's a mess. Then he's not alone. He has someone who cares about him. Sarah, he's our father. He's also the man who told me my daughter means nothing to him. Linda's voice softened. I know. I'm not saying you have to forgive him. I'm just telling you what's happening. What you do with that information is up to you. After I hung up, I sat on the edge of my bed for a long time. Emma found me there. She was supposed to be asleep, but she stood in my doorway in her nightgown, barefoot and concerned. What's wrong? Grandpa is sick. He's in the hospital. She came and sat beside me. Her small hand found mine. Are you going to see him? I don't know yet. What do you think I should do? She bit her lip, considering. I think you should do what makes you feel good in your heart, not what you think you're supposed to do. What actually makes you feel right. 7 years old, and she was wiser than I'd been in decades. When did you get so smart? She shrugged. You taught me. You always say to listen to the truth inside. I pulled her close. You're right, you for reminding me. That night, I made my decision. I didn't go to the hospital. It wasn't easy. Every instinct screamed at me that I was being cruel, heartless, a bad daughter. But I remembered Emma's face at her birthday party. I remembered my father's casual dismissal. I remembered all the times I'd put their needs first and received nothing but criticism in return. My father survived the heart attack. He came home after 2 weeks. I sent flowers to the hospital with a card that said, "I hope you recover fully." That was all. No visit, no reconciliation, just flowers and a polite wish for his health. My mother called me after they got home. "Those flowers were nice," she said. Her voice sounded smaller than I remembered. "Older, I'm glad Dad's okay, are you?" The question surprised me with its honesty. "Yes," I said. "I don't wish him harm, but I also don't wish to be in his life right now. He's changed, Sarah. The heart attack scared him. He's been thinking about things, about Emma, about what he said. Has he apologized? Silence, not in so many words. But he feels bad. Mom, feeling bad isn't the same as apologizing, and apologizing isn't the same as changing. Dad told me Emma means nothing to him. Do you understand what that did to me? What it would do to her if she ever found out? He didn't mean it like that. Then how did he mean it?" Another pause. "Longer this time?" "I don't know," she admitted finally. "I don't understand why he said those things either. But he's my husband. I have to stand by him. And Emma is my daughter. I have to stand by her." "So that's it? You're just going to cut us out forever?" I took a deep breath. "I'm not cutting you out. The door is open. But if you want to walk through it, you need to come with an apology, a real one. Not excuses or justifications. An actual acknowledgement of the pain you caused. Until then, I'm protecting my daughter. I'm teaching her that she deserves better than people who treat her like an afterthought." My mother started to cry. Soft, sad sounds that might have broken me a year ago. "We need the money, Sarah. We can't make it without that $700 a week." And there it was. The real reason for the call. "You should have thought about that before you chose garden plants over your granddaughter. Please, Sarah. Don't punish me for your father's mistakes. You were there too, Mom. You made the same choice he did. You're just as responsible." I hung up before she could say anything else. Emma came home from school that afternoon full of stories about her art class. She'd painted a picture of our house with a big sun overhead and flowers in the yard. "I made it happy," she explained, showing me the bright colors. "Because our house is happy now." She was right. It was. Time continued to move forward. Emma turned 8. This time we had a bigger party. I invited more friends. We rented a bounce house and made silly videos. There wasn't a single moment when Emma looked sad or waited for someone who wasn't coming. I took the money I would have sent to my parents and put it into a savings account for Emma's future. College fund, emergency fund, whatever she needed. I also started going to therapy, talking to someone about the guilt I felt, the anger, the grief of losing parents who were still alive but no longer part of my life. My therapist asked me once, "Do you think you made the right choice?" I thought about Emma's smile, about her confidence, about the way she was learning, through watching me, that it was okay to set boundaries. That love didn't mean accepting mistreatment. "Yes," I said. "I think I finally made the right choice." A year after the birthday party that changed everything, I received a letter in the mail. It was from my fa. His handwriting was shakier than I remembered. Age and illness taking their toll. The letter was short. "Dear Sarah, I have thought every day about what I said to you, about missing Emma's party, about the words I used. I was wrong. I was cruel. I don't have an excuse that makes it better. I can only tell you that I'm sorry, truly sorry. Not because I miss the money, though I do, because I miss you. I miss Emma. I miss being part of your lives. I understand if you can't forgive me. I wouldn't forgive me either, but I wanted you to know that you were right about everything. Your father, Robert." I read the letter 3 times, then I put it in a drawer and thought about what to do. Emma found me sitting at the kitchen table that evening, staring at nothing. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. "Grandpa wrote me a letter. He apologized." Her eyes widened. "Really? Really? What did he say?" I pulled out the letter and read it to her, word for word. When I finished, Emma sat quietly for a moment. "Do you believe him?" she asked. "I think I do. But believing someone is sorry and deciding to let them back into your life are two different things. Are you going to let them come back?" I looked at my daughter, this amazing, perceptive, kind little human I was raising. "What do you think I should do?" She considered carefully. "I think you should do what feels true. If you want to see them, we can see them. If you don't want to, that's okay too. But if we do see them, they have to promise to never make you cry like that again." Such wisdom from someone so young. "You're right," I said. "And whatever I decide, I'll make sure you're safe. That's my first job, protecting you." She hugged me. "I know, Mom, you're good at it." I decided to write back. My letter was longer than his. I told him that I appreciated his apology, that it took courage to admit he was wrong. But I also told him that words were just the beginning, that if he wanted to be part of our lives again, he would need to show me over time that he meant what he said. I suggested starting slowly, maybe a phone call with Emma once a week. If that went well, perhaps a short visit. But I made it clear that the $700 payments were over. That ship had sailed. If they needed financial help, they would need to seek it elsewhere. I also told him that the first time he hurt Emma again, disappointed her again, made her feel like she didn't matter, would be the last time. There would be no third chances. I mailed the letter and waited. 2 weeks later, my father called. "I got your letter," he said. His voice was different, humbler. "Thank you for writing back. I didn't think you would. I almost didn't. The terms you laid out, they're fair. More than fair. I don't expect the money back. I understand that. And I understand about being careful with Emma. I'll do whatever it takes to make this right." "Why now?" I asked. "What changed?" He was quiet for a long moment. "The heart attack. When I was lying in that hospital bed, not knowing if I'd make it, all I could think about was Emma's face, in that invitation she made. Your mother showed it to me after you called that night. I'd never even looked at it before. She'd drawn little flowers in the corners, written my name so carefully, and I just threw it away like it was nothing, like she was nothing." His voice cracked. "I threw away my granddaughter like she was nothing." I listened to him cry. My father, who had never shown emotion in front of me my entire life, sobbing on the other end of the phone. "I can't undo it," he said, "but I can try to do better. If you'll let me, 1 phone call a week," I said. "Saturday mornings at 10. You call Emma, you talk to her, you show interest in her life. If you miss a call, if you're late, if you make her feel bad in any way, we're done. Do you understand?" "I understand." "And Dad?" "Emma doesn't know what you said. About her meaning nothing. She just knows you missed her party. Let's keep it that way. She doesn't need that burden." "Of course. Sarah, thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance." "Don't thank me yet. Show me." That Saturday, the phone rang at exactly 10 o'clock. Emma picked it up nervously. "Hello?" I watched her face as she listened, saw the cautious hope bloom into a genuine smile. "I'm in 3rd grade now," she was saying. "My favorite subject is art. We're learning about watercolors." The conversation lasted 20 minutes. When she hung up, she looked at me with shining eyes. "Grandpa wants to know if he can call again next Saturday. What do you think?" I asked. "I think yes." He sounded different, nicer, and so it began. Every Saturday at 10 o'clock, the phone rang. Sometimes my mother was on the line too. They asked Emma about school, about her art, about her friends. They listened. They remembered details from previous conversations. After 3 months, I agreed to let them visit for lunch. Just lunch. 2 hours, they arrived with a gift for Emma. A professional art set with watercolors, brushes, and special paper. I remembered you said you liked watercolors, my father said awkwardly. I asked the lady at the store what a good set would be. Emma's face lit up. This is perfect. Thank you, Grandpa. We sat around the table eating sandwiches, and it was strange and uncomfortable and hopeful, all at once. My father looked older. The heart attack had aged him. But there was something softer in his face, too. Something that hadn't been there before. As they were leaving, he pulled me aside. Thank you for this, he said quietly. I know I don't deserve it. You're right. You don't. But Emma deserves grandparents who love her, who show up for her. Can you be that? I'm trying. Every day I'm trying. That's all I can ask. It's been 2 years now since that birthday party. 2 years since I cut off my parents, and then slowly, carefully, let them back in on new terms. Emma is 9 now. She's confident and kind. She knows her worth. She understands that loving people doesn't mean accepting bad behavior from them. My parents call every Saturday without fail. They've attended every birthday party, every school event, every art show. They've proven over time that they meant their apology. Their relationship isn't what it was before. It's better, more honest, built on respect rather than obligation. I never sent them another dollar, and they never asked. They figured out their finances. Dad got a part-time job at the library. Mom started selling her sewing online. They adjusted, they survived, and Emma learned the most important lesson I could teach her. That she matters, that her feelings matter, that the people who love her should show it through their actions, not just their words. Sometimes people ask me if I regret cutting my parents off, even temporarily. If I think I was too harsh, I tell them no. Not for a second, because that decision, as painful as it was, taught my daughter something invaluable. It taught her that love without respect is just a word. That family isn't just about blood. It's about showing up. It's about treating each other like we matter. My parents learned that too, the hard way. But they learned. And now, when Emma makes an invitation with flowers drawn in the corners, they're the first ones to please reply. That's all I ever wanted. For my daughter to know she matters. To everyone. But especially to the people who are supposed to love her most. And now she does. If this story touched your heart, I'd be grateful if you'd take a moment to like this. Post and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Subscribe to hear more stories about family, courage, and the difficult choices we make for the people we love. And please, leave a comment below. Tell me about a time you had to set boundaries with family. How did it turn out? I'd love to hear your story. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today.